It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island. 'Cause nothing's better than a motion video.
It's Movie Time. It's produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to broadcast shows Fridays at 4:01 and 8:01 p.m. Read reviews and listen to shows online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando,
And I'm G Kline.
and this is It's Movie Time. And where has Spike Lee been?
Spike Lee, anytime we get an opportunity to talk about a Spike Lee movie, it's noteworthy.
I know.
You know, this is a man who does not produce a prolific number of movies,
No.
but he has the rare a trait of most of his movies are hits. He has had more hits than misses,
Right.
and that is a real rarity in Hollywood.
Yeah, and he has had misses.
He's had a few.
Sure,
There's been
yeah.
a couple weak films, but he's had more than his share of Academy Awards. So, you know, a director to look out for, kind of like Scorsese or Spielberg.
Yeah.
You know, whenever one of his films comes out, it's definitely something that we want to talk about.
The film is called Highest to Lowest.
Highest to Lowest.
A great pedigree on this.
This film is a remake
Yes.
of a Akira Kurosawa film from 1963.
Yes.
Yeah, one of Kurosawa's lesser known films. you
High
know.
and low.
Yeah, High and Low. When you ask most people Kurosawa films, they're going to name Seven
Of course
Samurai,
they will.
Hidden Fortress, Kagemusha. High and Low kind of gets lost in the mix, but it is well known within the Hollywood community. That when Universal acquired the rights to Kurosawa's movies, Martin Scorsese immediately grabbed High and Low and decided to do a remake of it in America, but it went into production purgatory for many years, and that enabled Spike Lee to grab the property and make it his own.
Now, both you and I think this is one of the best movies of the year.
I think this is the best movie that's come out so far this year.
All right. For me, it's going to compete with things like Weapons and so on.
Mhm.
Some good movies that have
Sorry
come out.
Baby, definitely still
Yeah,
up
yeah.
there.
But when you want to look at his oeuvre, it's certainly one of the best, as I consider it, maybe his best.
I
most
think it's his
accessible.
most accessible movie.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a movie that all audiences are going to enjoy.
Got it,
He
right.
has certain things that he likes to do that make his films a little bit more challenging, particularly to white audiences. He does like to portray his white characters as somewhat racist, somewhat arrogant.
Yes, no, and this one is the guy from the commercial, isn't it?
It is. It is.
And Mayhem, do they call him or something?
Yes, it's the guy from the insurance commercials, the Mayhem guy.
Impressive.
At first, I thought it was Mark Madsen, but in one of his last roles. But no, it is the Mayhem guy, and he plays the part perfectly. And I really cannot condemn Spike Lee for making this character somewhat racist and arrogant, because that is the nature of the character in the story in the original Kurosawa film
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So
This is a police procedural.
this is a police procedural
You know, this is
film.
the fourth or fifth time that he and Denzel have collaborated.
It is.
And, yeah, and it's for a person who doesn't care about Spike Lee. You can go with your buddy or your friend or your love and enjoy it.
And be very impressed, I would think. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the story. This is as you said, it's a police procedural. It is about a record producer, a record distributor, sort of Spike Lee's version of Quincy Jones. Is a
Okay,
good
yeah,
comparison. Very successful, wealthy, came from nothing, became a top producer. His name is David King, but he's known in the industry as King David.
Sure.
And he's launched the careers of over 50 artists. So we really are making a
And
good
played
comparison.
by two-time
Played by
Oscar winner.
two-time Oscar winner Denzel Washington,
Yeah.
who is well on his way to a third Oscar. And magnificently played.
And that's it.
And then he gets word that his 18, 19-year-old son has been kidnapped, and the ransomer wants $17.5 million in order to release
And
his son.
I thought, Ken, it was a kind of an ingenious twist. I don't know why. I'm impressed by the fact that that his son is not, you know, he's not the one who was kidnapped. it's his friend.
Well, and that's true to the original
Yeah,
Kurosawa
and
film.
I just like that twist.
Yeah, well, this is where the humanist challenged in this film. This really is a humanist movie. It is about morality, it is about emotion, it is about when he finds out that it wasn't his son that was kidnapped, it was his buddy who was his chauffeur.
Played by Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey
Excellent
Wright,
choice.
yeah, I mean, I love Jeffrey Wright in Wes Anderson's movies, he's great here. But he then has to make a decision, am I gonna cough up the $17.5 million to release my chauffeur's son? And at first, his reaction is no, and I'm not gonna go much further into the story because you really need to see it.
Well, let me say this, that Lee has an ability here to pull you into that story so much so that I'm saying to myself, what would I do? Would I put up my
Exactly.
17? I mean, it is a real moral dilemma, and as you stress the humanitarian aspect of this, I like the way Lee uses this as a part of the tension in the film. It's just, what is he going to do? There's very little blood. There's no blood.
There's no blood.
No.
Lee creates beautiful montages that go on for 5, 6, 7 minutes where there's no dialogue. It is just Denzel Washington facing the prospect of, I'm going to either have a choice of saving my company and holding on to it, or giving up my company and paying the ransom for my chauffeur's son.
Right.
And again, no dialogue, but you're just watching him and you're so engrossed in his performance that without saying a word, Denzel Washington conveys the whole range of emotion that he is going through.
Well, it's a Hobson's choice. Either way, you're going to lose. You can't win on this.
It's a moral choice.
Sure
It's a choice of, do I choose business over people? And is my business, my fortune, my wealth, everything that surrounds me more important to me than a living, breathing human being?
Yeah. And one of the other characters in the story, and is filled with good characters.
It's filled with amazing characters.
One of the ones is the cinematography in the background of New York
Yes,
City.
yes, absolutely.
Do you think he may have done this the best he's ever done in integrating?
I think, it's definitely Spike Lee's best cinematography. It is world-class cinematography here. You see the New York City skyline spread out below his penthouse in almost every scene.
Yes.
And these breathtaking wide-angle shots, and exploring how big New York City is, and how he is the king of the city. The whole thing is, he lives in this penthouse on top of a building just across the Brooklyn Bridge, overlooking the city, and he is King David. He's a king.
Yes.
He's the king of New York when it comes to music promoting. And as a result, the difference between his class, his upper class status, and the class of everyone down below walking the streets is accentuated. And that's very true to the original Kurosawa story, which was about the economic miracle that occurred in Japan in the late 50s and early 60s, where you had people suddenly becoming super wealthy through their businesses. Well, the majority of the Japanese population was living in poverty.
And if you wanted to challenge Spike Lee to get out of the hood, this is a great way of doing it.
Absolutely.
Now, the part of the movie that drags for me a bit is the cliched part of the race. Through the subways and so on.
Oh yes, when they're trying to
and the bag of
and the bag of money.
and I'm going, but I do realize it is his coming down from that perch.
Yes,
into
it
the
is.
people.
And this is, I will point out, this is one of the problematic moments in the story by setting it in New York with this record producer. Now, in the original story, the fellow owned a shoe company. He had become wealthy from a shoe company. But in this movie, he's launched the careers of 50 major artists. In reality, this is a hole in the plot, because if Quincy Jones suddenly needed $17.5 million to bail his son out from a kidnapper, there would be a line of artists waiting to give him that money. He would be surrounded by the artists whose careers he's launched, who are all now multimillionaires themselves, and have Quincy to thank for that.
In addition to that, Lee kind of drops the effect of getting the 17.5 million. I had the feeling as we were moving up to that they're going to be in poverty immediately, and yet it doesn't happen. He gets the 17.5 million.
But it makes it impossible for him to buy back his company and retain ownership of his company.
Right.
That's the stress. But again, as I said, that's a hole in the plot that I'm willing to overlook. In reality, would this guy have a hard time getting money from his friends? They would all be lining up to give him money because of what, as we see in the movie, when you help someone, it helps your career. And this is a subtle undertone of this, is that your career is often dependent upon your social status. So you don't get rich by being a successful businessman so much as you often get rich by becoming popular to the common people.
And we need to jump into the story toward the end of the story, and we need to spoil it a bit because we need to get our audience attuned to the fact that one of the greatest scenes in film history is right here.
Is right at the
toward
very end. Yeah.
He's face to face with the rapper kidnapper.
He's face to face with the kidnapper in a recording studio, and it is, folks, it is the best scene in a movie this year. It is Denzel Washington as this very famous, very wealthy record promoter who has been known to people for decades, facing off against this young rapper who has had a hard time. He's just fresh out of jail. He epitomizes all of the poverty in New York City and the desperate attempts by kids to rap their way to stardom. And it is a powerful, powerful
And what
scene.
it brings in, besides the stunning interaction between the two of them, it brings to, maybe as I say, to fruition, this whole motif of social media.
Social media playing a big role, and this is why
This
this
movie,
scene is so much better than the equivalent scene in Kurosawa's film. Kurosawa's film, the kidnapper was a hospital worker. So you did not, he was just a poor person. All you had in the Kurosawa film was the difference in economic status. But here, you have the economic status as well as the social media presence and a lot of more dynamics.
It's throughout.
Yeah, it's much.
Decisions are being made. The moral decision that we like so much here is a large basis on social media and the power of social media, and that's impinging upon our king and the decision that he makes.
Yes, yes, and he is uncomfortable
Yes.
with the power of social media, which plays another dynamic into this as well. This movie is so much more effective than Kurosawa's original film. It's one of the only times I've ever said I like the new version better than the Kurosawa.
All right, G Kline. The movie is highest to lowest. People need to go to our website to hear more at WCBE.org, to the podcast experience, to Backtalk. What do you advise?
I can't imagine a world where Denzel Washington does not win the Best Actor this year, and I think this film will get nominated for Best Picture. It will probably win Best Adapted Screenplay, and might even get nominated for Best Cinematography.
And I can't think of a better place for me and my daughter and my very good friend to have seen it in the Drexel Theater.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
You're talking class all the
You're
way
in a
around.
1927 theater watching a classic, a remake of a classic film, and the big screen is the way to see this movie.
It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online.